Hello bellezas, welcome back to a new video, or if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Brenda. I do mostly paranormal videos here on my channel and I usually always post on Fridays, so if that is something that you are interested in, please consider subscribing down below and turn on your post notifications so you do not miss when I post another video like this one. Also, don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up if you end up enjoying it by the end of it. And with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Alright guys, so as you can tell by the title, today I have another urban legend that I will be talking to you guys about. Some of you may have heard it, some of you may have not, but please let me know in the comments down below if you have. And as I said, since I do already do these like paranormal spooky videos, I feel like adding I feel like saying Spooktober, that it's like this series is going to be Spooktober, when we all know that we already discuss the paranormal here on my channel all the time, and that's basically what I post the most. But I did just want to like add a little bit more spookiness to my background, at least, so that way it feels more like Halloween vibes, since we are finally in October and finally starting spooky season. But nothing much has changed on my channel. I'm still going to be talking about the paranormal, and yeah, so just wanted to say that to you guys really quickly. And also I wanted to show you guys my shirt, but you can't really see it at this angle, but it's Michael Myers. It's so cute. I wish I could do a better angle where you could see all of this, but as I always say, the background is more important to me. It looks better to just have it all like nicely. Anyway, enough chit chat from me. And I do like to just talk to you guys a little bit before I actually start the video, because I know that when I start them I always say, with all of that being said, let's get into the video, but then I still talk anyway. But I'm gonna start putting a timestamp to when I actually start talking about whatever the video is about, because I know some of you might like me, you know, chit-chatting with you guys a little bit before it starts, and some of you might just be like, whatever, just get to the point, and that's fine. But if for those of you that do want to stay and listen to me chat, I just appreciate that. But anyway, let's actually get into today's urban legend. So today we are going to be talking about La Mala Hora. So translation for that is the evil hour. But the Mala Hora is, technically it is a Mexican legend, or maybe it was just originated by people who are Hispanic and they deemed it, or they called it, La Mala Hora. And this legend actually originated in New Mexico. And there isn't too much to this legend, so this video might be a little bit more on the shorter side, but I still think that you guys will enjoy listening to it. So basically what La Mala Hora is, it is said to be some kind of like evil spirit or evil entity, and usually people run into this entity in lonely like crossroads or lonely roads in general all around New Mexico. And this entity has a lot of different forms. Usually you see it as just like a black shape, and it forms into different like sizes. It goes small, big, or it kind of just shapeshifts like a cloud, or like a black cloud of some sort. And there also is depictions of what people say La Mala Hora looks like, because sometimes sometimes it will appear to look like a woman of some sort, and I will put up a picture of what people say that La Mala Hora looks like, or how they say that they've seen her look like. And yeah, so it'll prey on anyone who is alone driving through a crossroad specifically, and it'll just kind of appear out of nowhere, and it'll lunge itself at you, you know, without you expecting it. And as I said, so it looks for weary, lonely travelers mostly. Like if you're traveling with other people, you might not ever like encounter it, but it is a very eerie thing to just imagine yourself just minding your business, driving along a dark, you know, road in the middle of the night, like after you know, got off work or something, and then just having this thing appear. So it is said to be a bad omen, so that if you do end up encountering La Mala Hora, it means that either you or somebody you know is going to die. So basically when you see it appear as a woman is when it's a bad omen that somebody else is going to die, is basically what I think I got from it when I was researching it. And if you see it just like appear in front of you as this like black blob sort of thing, just shape shifting into different sizes, like growing bigger or smaller, usually it's going to attack you. So as I said, the legend says that it attacks you and then it'll wrap itself all around you and then slowly suffocate or choke you basically until you're dead, and then it'll just leave you there, and the next day, you know, somebody will come across the body of someone who was attacked by La Mala Hora, and you know, no one will have an explanation as to how or what happened to them, and then ultimately it'll just be like something that nobody ever figures out. And so this is like a very creepy sort of I wouldn't say haunted road or haunted highway, but since it is like something that you encounter where you're driving by yourself, it very much gives me vibes of my little series that I did, Haunted Highways, because I hadn't heard about this and I wish that I did when I was doing that series still. That's why I was like, I'll just do a separate video on it and I'll talk to you guys about it and kind of just discuss this legend. It's by itself because I think it's like really eerie. And I was actually watching a bunch of other videos that people covered about La Mala Hora, and they had like some really creepy things to say about it. I forgot the name of the channel that I was watching, but I'll put his name right here because I was watching his video specifically to make the one that I'm doing right now. And he said that he knows somebody who lives in New Mexico, like somebody he personally knows, and he went and asked him about La Mala Hora, him or her, I don't know. And this person didn't want to talk about it. He was just like, oh, you know, it's just something bad, es algo malo, and they didn't want to say anything more than that. And he thought that was really weird, and I thought that was weird too, because it's like maybe they have encountered it before and something happened and they just feel like, you know, they don't want to talk about it. But I thought that was really creepy. And then he also goes to tell a story that that the same person told him about a woman who was driving by herself after, you know, I don't remember exactly what he said, but she was driving by herself, and then her husband was actually going on a business trip, and after he went on this business trip, you know, she had been driving out by herself not too long after he was gone. She was heading to like a friend's house or something, or her own house, I'm not really sure, but she was driving in the dark through like some lonely highway. She comes to a crossroad, and then she all of a sudden slams on her brakes because some black figure appears right in front of her car, and she's like really freaked out. She doesn't even know what this thing is. It just looked like a blob of black smoke or something, as I said. And then she slams on her brake, and she's like so terrified that she's like closing her eyes just so maybe it'll go away, you know, how you do when you're a little kid. And so she looks up again finally after she gets the courage to, and then the black blob is gone. And so she like kind of has like a sigh of relief, and she's like, okay, so I think it's all good now. And then as she starts like about to start driving, she like looks over to the side of her window, and she sees that there's like a woman, and she looks really creepy, really scary, just like in the pictures that I showed you guys of how they depict her. And she gets really scared, and the lady who's standing outside of her window starts clawing at the window and trying to get in, and the lady like steps on the gas and she starts going, and this thing is still walking beside her car, clawing at the window, which just sounds like so terrifying. I was just like, oh god, like it gave me the chills thinking about that, just like nails on glass, like her trying to like crawl her way into the car. I don't like it. It's so spooky. And then so she's keeping up with her as this lady's like slamming on the gas, you know, trying to get away from this thing. And finally she looks over and there's nobody there anymore. And so she drives to her friend's house, because I'm guessing she didn't want to go to her own house. I feel like that's what it was, because after something crazy like this happening, you wouldn't want to be alone, especially if her husband is away on a business trip. So she goes over to her friend's house and tells her about everything that just happened, and her friend was like, oh, maybe it was la mala hora, and she explains to her what la mala hora is, and she says, you know, la mala hora is like an evil spirit, and that la mala hora is feared more than the devil, supposedly. I had never heard of this legend before, so I for one feel like the devil's still scarier. I don't know, we're not competing here, but it's still creepy. And so anyway, back to the story. So yeah, basically that happens, and you know, she's really scared and she can barely sleep that night after her friend tells her about la mala hora, and you know, that it probably was a bad omen, that something was gonna happen. And then finally the next morning she goes to go back to her house, and as she is pulling up to her driveway, she sees that there is a cop car that has been waiting for her there, most likely. And she gets out of her car, and the police actually tell her that when her husband was was barely arriving to his hotel, I guess, to wherever he was going, he got mugged and they killed him. And after this happened, you know, after seeing la mala hora literally after midnight, when her husband was also mugged right after midnight, she like connected the two, and she was just basically terrified, as one would be. And I just thought that story was super scary, so I wanted to share it with you guys too. And if you guys want to check out that guy's video as well to go see how he tells it, since I did get this story from his channel, so shout out to him. And I'll have to look his name up so I don't just credit nobody. But anyway, yeah, as I said, that was a really creepy story, and when I was listening to him tell it, I was just like, oh my god, can you even imagine? So that's why people believe in it, because there's a lot of people who say that they had encounters with it. But I would really like to know if there's any of my subscribers from New Mexico that can validate this legend. Like, it doesn't have to be proved that it's real or anything, but like if you know anyone who has had a potential encounter, or if they've seen anything like this, because it's said that she doesn't haunt, or she doesn't, I keep calling it a she, it doesn't go to a specific area in New Mexico. There's no specific road, it's just, you know, wherever it appears. So it could be like at any crossroad anywhere in the middle of the night, but that is where you will most likely encounter, if you know, if it is something real. But personally, I would not want to find out myself, so I would not want to have an encounter with this thing, because that's terrifying, especially if it is appearing to you to try to kill you or tell you that somebody else is gonna die. I was just like, no ma'am, I did not like that at all. But I still thought this was a very fun urban legend. Could I call it fun? I guess, but because as you guys know, yeah, I love telling urban legends, and I really like to keep an open mind with a lot of these, because the initiative on my channel is not to prove whether or not things are fake. It's just me telling you guys about it, and then you guys obviously can make your own opinion about it. But for me, it is just fun to learn about them and then tell them to you guys. And you know, I always just keep an open mind about it. I never go, oh, this is like fake, this is dumb, whatever. I just have fun looking into spooky things, and that's why a lot of you guys are here, obviously. But yeah guys, that is basically the legend of La Mala Hora. I also had, I think, a couple people who suggested it to me. I don't remember who it was, but I know that there was like some comments, maybe one, I don't really remember. But shout out to you as well for recommending that I do that I cover this urban legend. But yeah, that is going to be it from me for today. I hope that you guys did enjoy it, even though this video was a little bit on the shorter side, and I appreciate you watching all the way through. And before I do end today's video, the comment shout out goes to this person right here. Thank you so much for leaving a nice comment. As always, I really do appreciate it, and it really makes my day. And if you want to be the next comment shout out, all you have to do is leave me a nice comment, of course, and that's it. Now, with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate and love every single one of you. Hopefully I will see you in my next one. Don't forget to stay safe and be kind. Bye bye.